George Gershwin and cinema, a beautiful friendship. With the news of a Martin Scorsese-backed George Gershwin-inspired film, we're taking a look back at the composer's incredible impact on cinema. Last week, news dropped of a film inspired by the life and work of George Gershwin in the works, produced by Martin Scorsese and longtime producing partner Irwin Winkler, titled Fascinating Rhythm. It was also reported that John Carney will direct and co-write the film, along with Chris Cluess. If you're unfamiliar with John Carney, watch once as soon as possible.
It's not finished, and I don't really...
Just play it right
Okay,
now.
but the lyrics are very rough, okay?
Be great.
Okay.
The micro-budget Irish music film is a miracle of a movie. Made on a $100,000 budget with musicians turned actors, the film gave us the Oscar-winning song Falling Slowly, and forever cemented Carney as someone who cares deeply about how musicians and music are presented on film. He followed it up with two other charming and inspiring music-centered films, Begin Again and Sing Street. Fascinating Rhythm is an original story described as follows: a young woman's magical journey through past and present New York City, inspired by the life and music of American composer George Gershwin. Not necessarily called a biopic, the description is vague enough to spark curiosity, and the auspice generates a definite excitement. Music biopics are notorious for being cliched cookie-cutter films. It's refreshing that Gershwin will not get the same treatment. Gershwin is immortalized by his work. George Gershwin was born in 1898 in New York City to Ukrainian Jewish parents. He started playing piano at age 10 and sold his first song for 50 cents at the age of 17. He composed Rhapsody in Blue in 1924 and An American in Paris, the orchestration, not the film, while he was literally an American living in Paris in 1928. He and his brother Irwin Gershwin collaborated on many Broadway musicals, and he spent time in Hollywood, where he wrote the score for the Astaire Rogers musical Shall We Dance? Unfortunately, he died from a brain tumor in 1937 at the tragic age of 38. His orchestrations are a unique combination of his classical influences as well as popular jazz, leading to energetic and epic masterpieces. Some of the Gershwin brothers' jazz standards include Someone to Watch Over Me, But Not For Me, The Man I Love, I Got Rhythm, Swonderful, and They Can't Take That Away From Me. Gershwin's passionate rhythms and shifting tempos feel cinematic in and of themselves. It's no wonder the enormous influence they've had on film. Here's a look back at some of the greatest Gershwin film moments. An American in Paris. Vincente Minnelli's classic MGM musical An American in Paris is by far the most iconic use of Gershwin's music in film. Named and inspired by the orchestration itself, the film includes many other songs by the Gershwin brothers. I Got Rhythm was taken from the musical Crazy Girl, but it is immortalized by Gene Kelly putting on a show for the little French kids on his block in the film.
Say le time step. Ah, oui, le time step.
The film's Dream Ballet sequence is another close contender with another Kelly ballet sequence, that of Singin' in the Rain. The 17-minute dialogue-free sequence is immaculate, and while it's near impossible to say which dance sequence is better, this one has one essential thing that the other doesn't. Gershwin. At some moments, it's exquisitely traditional, and at others, it's drop-dead sexy. A feat only possible when set to Gershwin. It is one of the greatest dance as well as music moments in film history, a magic trick before our eyes, and the perfect climax to this escapist masterpiece. Funny Face. Funny Face is a good enough movie. Its already loose plot is very different from the Gershwin's musical of the same name. However, the title song as well as a few others are preserved from the Gershwin's work. It's mostly eye candy. Audrey Hepburn and Paris are gorgeous co-stars in this lighthearted story of a bookish girl with a funny face who hesitantly becomes a model. Perhaps Hepburn's best musical moment, the one that forever iconized the black loafer with white socks look, is when she dances her bohemian jig in a Montmartre cafe. The orchestration is a combination of the song's funny face and How Long Has This Been Going On. It's a wild mashup arranged by none other than Richard Rodgers, a fitting maestro to blend Gershwin's sounds into something as free-spirited as Montmartre itself. Manhattan. The only, and I repeat, the only salvageable thing from Woody Allen's Manhattan is the wonderful opening sequence. The film's namesake is presented to us in beautiful black and white. The Queensboro Bridge, the pyramids in the Met, inside a Broadway theater, Central Park, a couple kissing on a rooftop, and finally fireworks over the skyline where Gershwin's Rhapsody in Blue tingles our senses. The sequence includes Allen's character narrating the description of a man who idolizes the city that pulsated to the great tunes of George Gershwin, affirming that Rhapsody in Blue is New York City.
He was too romantic about Manhattan, as he was about everything else.
He thrived on the hustle-bustle of the crowds and the traffic.
The rest of the film is also scored exclusively by Gershwin tunes. However, it is only in the opening that the audience is unaware of the uncomfortable 17-year-old girl, 40-year-old man relationship at the center of the story. In that prelude, Manhattan is simply about Manhattan, and soundtracked accordingly. Other notable Gershwin uses. Gershwin's film credits are endless. His IMDb credits are impossibly long for someone who's died at the age of 38. If Carney's film is a biopic in any form, it wouldn't be the first. Neither is the phenomenon of naming films after Gershwin's songs novel. A 1945 fictionalized version of Gershwin's life hit the big screen as Rhapsody in Blue, and features all of the composer's most popular songs.
What do you call yourself? George Gershwin. It's my real name. Mine's Oscar Levant. I'm thinking of changing it.
A 1987 precursor to The Bodyguard, Someone to Watch Over Me, tells the story of a cop who falls in love with the murderer witness socialite he's assigned to protect, and features the song it was named after. Judy Garland's performance of Swanee in A Star Is Born is a memorable moment of star power. One of the most charming uses of Gershwin in modern times, I Loves You Porgy and The Man I Love, both stink their way into Polakowski's beautiful, devastating, jazz-filled 2018 love story, Cold War. This relationship between Gershwin's music and the movies has been important in the history of film and will hopefully never diminish in the future. The news of Fascinating Melody, as well as his 10 credits in 2020 and 2021 alone, promises that this is not likely.